believe in the God of Israel. I believe in one God. I believe that Christ was manifested in the flesh is one God. Like the old Israel who painted lamb's blood on their doorpost. I believe that Christ is my true lamb, and his blood has been painted upon me. I believe that the same God of Israel protects me from all evils and sickness of this world, and I will do my best to keep the law, the statutes, and the commandments. I believe that my Messiah died for my sins. I believe that he raised from the dead, and I believe that he will come again to judge the whole house of Israel. I believe that my God has created the heavens, the earth, and everything upon it. I believe in one God who is holy and righteous. I believe that the God of Israel is my Father. There is only one God. There is only one God of Israel. I will give my whole soul, body, and spirit to the one God of Israel, for he is righteous and he is my Father. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, Selah and Selah. Amen. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, AIJTV, which is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob TV. And today I am joined by our Elder Elvis and myself, Priest Tyrone. We have a nice subject matter for today, and the subject matter is an extension of Many Are Called, Few Are Chosen. This is part 2. So a few weeks ago, I was with the young Ezekiel, and we found out, and we delved a bit more into who are the chosen, and if you're called, and what the difference is between the two. But we want to go a little bit further into really getting into about the many are called and the few are chosen. What are the characteristics, and what are some of the key things that we can look at that we can reflect on ourselves that may identify if we are called or merely just being or just being chosen or merely being called? Because there is a big difference. What do you say, Elder Elvis?
Well, you know what? I think we should break it down a little bit so that they understand when we say many are called, few are chosen. For instance, I know you used to do the Olympics. So, and every country that does the Olympics, there's millions and millions of people in each country. But out of those millions and millions of people, you narrow it down. Because per country, the rule is only 3 can get to go and represent your country out of the hundreds of thousands of people that may participate in one particular sport. So people don't understand the significance of only a few out of those millions will be chosen.
You know, I like the fact that you brought that up, because being an Olympic trained athlete, and I've trained at elite level, I've trained with some of the fastest men in the world in UCLA, and traveled the world and competed at a high level in 100 meters and 60-meter sprint. I understand what you're saying, because it takes 4 years for an athlete to train to make it, well, not to make it, to go to the trials and to qualify to go and represent their country.
Right.
So that's 4 years of heavy training, and anything can happen along the way. Like 4 years can go, you can go out one night, you can step a foot wrong and you tear your Achilles. That's it. 4 years is literally down the drain.
I know.
Completely gone.
I know exactly what you mean.
Being able to last the 4 years and make it through the 4 years is very hard. There's some people that have been training 8 years, 16 years, and then they make their first Olympics after maybe 16 years of training. 16. That's a long time to be able to do that. But it shows the dedication you have to have and the wanting to be able to be selected and chosen to represent your country.
Exactly.
So I like the fact that you brought that up. But yeah, go ahead. You're going to say something.
I think they can get a better analogy of that, because most people, if not the entire world at the Olympics, will actually tune into that.
Yes, they will.
And some people do understand how long it takes, and the fact that those guys that stay on that course for those, whether it's 4, 8, or whatever amount of years, that they still got to go through that selection process, and they know that they can get cut.
Well, let me tell you this. Let me give you another picture. When an athlete, for example, is training for the 100 meters, because that was my speciality, we're training from the time we're young. Then we've got to go through a whole process of the English schools in the UK. It was the English schools competition. Then we go through the under 16s. Then we've got to go for the under 17s and so on, under 23s.
Right.
And we're going through this rigid process where we have to do everything in our power, or try to do, to actually compete. But think about this. For 4 years worth of training, just to run 10 seconds, or under 10 seconds, 20 years to run 20 or 20 point seconds for the 200 meters. Do you understand the capacity, the endurance, the staying power you have to have? And think about it, you're absolutely right. There's thousands, if not millions of people wanting that exact same spot. Now, I train football players, and there's about 300 million people that's trying to make it to be a professional football. Oh, sorry, I mean soccer. For Canadians out there, soccer, right? Football is a real term, but okay, soccer. Right? But 300 million. Right. And out of that 300 million, less, and I do mean less than 1% actually make it to be professional.
Literally.
300 million. So the selection process is incredibly rigid. But I want to bring it right back. Think about Israel's selection process. It's very rigid.
Very.
You've got 300 million people, great guys, great women, training, trying to go for it. But only the 1% is going to be chosen to now make the big bucks. The $500,000 a week. Imagine that, $500,000 a week. You're set. You're going to contract for 5 years, $500,000. Some of these guys want 1.2 million a week and more. Sure. But look at the process. It's only a few. So now think about Israel. You being an Israelite. How many people do you really think are trying to find this path of truth? How many? We can't say because they're in other religions they're not trying, because they sincerely believe they're serving the true and living God. They do.
Absolutely.
But they are not. So they're hearing something. And let's go right back. We have our great officer Charmaine and the professor, Elder Michael.
Yeah.
And when they do the Sunday classes and they speak about in Egypt, what happened in Egypt, and how the world came to Egypt and to learn. And they took from Egypt and went back to their native nations, and they interpreted. But who were they learning from? So they all thinking they were learning from our fathers there, and thinking that they're serving the true living God, but they took the gods of Egypt and worshipped them instead. And that's why the Bible and our word, it's so perfect. And when you stitch it all together, there is no difference. From the First Testament to the Second Testament, they all mesh together. Quite literally mesh together. But I want to start in the book of Psalms. And there's a reason why, because we ask ourselves, am I chosen? Everyone says, yes, I'm chosen. Everybody, even those outside, yeah, of course I'm chosen. Are you really chosen?
But that's the thing, everybody always wants to be chosen. But the cool thing is, are you willing to put the work in?
I love you. I like the fact you said that.
Everybody wants, I'm number one. I want to be in the top 10. But are you going to put the work in? It takes a lot of sweat if you're in the physical world of sports. But in Israel, are you going to take that commitment, that dedication to stay true on this path? Because it is extremely narrow. It's not no wide like the 401, 8 lanes across each direction. No.
And there's still traffic. But, and I like the fact that you actually said that about the commitment, because you're absolutely right. Because with the analogy or the example of training, great, you're an athlete. Look, when I was young, I was 16 years old, and I said to myself, I'm going to be the fastest man in the world next week. I'm 16 years old, but I had all the zeal, the energy, the power, the passion, our training, everything. I'm 16 years old. I haven't been through the hardship. I haven't been through the struggle. I haven't trained in the snow yet. I haven't trained when it's -3 or 4 outside and my skin is ripping. I haven't, dropped the weight on my chest and give myself a heart attack. I haven't done the work in order to be chosen to go and represent my country, as it were, at a high-level sport. I haven't done the work. You have to put in the work. So in terms of Israel, and particularly at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, you have to put in the work. Because why? The charge, the instruction, the leadership was given to our elder Shadrach. And he's shown us exactly what we ought to do. It's not, I can come, sit down, I'm an Israelite now, I'm baptized, I'm sucked. I can just come and sit down and, there's a kind of a saying we say back in the UK, from the west side of Africa, you just clap your hands and clap your foot and that's it. I'm good. No.
The thing to present.
You got to work.
Go ahead. Just being chosen, you have to understand that when you get that selection, when you're in, representing Israel means you're representing not just the physical, but we're talking on the spiritual level now, where you're representing the true and living God.
We're coming
only.
there. We're coming there. Don't give away too much too
Don't give away
early. Then after that, we have to close the book and go home.
Serious stuff.
It is. And the spiritual aspect is so important, but we're living here in the physical. And this is something that we also have to remember, is the work that we're doing here physically. You're here, you're helping to build the nation. You're working with each other. You're supporting Elder and the Supreme Council. You're doing the things in the nation, not just what you see. Let's put it in terms, because I know David said, you know, he was a strong man, he could run a good race, all right? Not just what you see, when I see you, but what about when I don't see you? Are you still keeping the law, statutes, commandments? Are you still loving your brethren as yourself? Are you? I mean, it's very good. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I had a good friend, and on the surface, he looked real good. Surface. Come to the track, he had like the new gear. Adidas was hot that time. New Adidas track, Adidas shoes. Wow, we thought this guy was sponsored. He's sponsored. When he came to run the race, he had 2 left foot. I'm like, what's going on here then? Because on the appearance, he appeared something else that he hadn't put the work in. In order to put the work in, you're like, by your fruits, you're going to be known. You're going to be known. So all the hard work you've done, it will start to bear fruits. We'll get to that part as well, because now that's on a spiritual level. What are you reproducing for our God? Because the Christ speaks about it in the book of Matthew, and we're going to get there. What are we doing to really show the God of Israel, hey, Father, I know you've called me. My position is not quite yet secure. It's not. Because no one has come down from heaven and said, and behold, and bestowed upon you, you're 100% saved. You're 100% going to be in. No one's done that yet. So we're still on that journey. We're still breathing. We still have to prove ourselves to our God. Let's remember back in the book of Jeremiah. Remember the book of Jeremiah? When they brought bread to the Queen of Heaven? Right. And then they stave off from breaking bread to the Queen of Heaven. And what did they say? They were in want for all things. This is Israel, man. Why? If you now leave your God and deserve to go and fornicate, commit adultery, if you like, let's use it in that term. You commit adultery, but the spiritual sense is fornication. And you go and worship multiple gods. And then you come back to your lover, your husband, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You're very fortunate he even takes you back. Let's make that clear. I can go a bit deeper, because in the book of Jeremiah 3, it talks about that. It talks about that. With a man, no, I won't go there yet. We won't go there yet. But it's still early, but we will get there. But understand who you are. Understand who you are. It's not secured. We're on that path to be secured. When we close our eyes and we take our final breath, and we're there, and we're going to sit back, and you're going to remember Elder Shadrach. You're going to remember Priest Andel. You're going to remember Priest Freddie. You're going to remember Elder, where is he? Oh, Elder Michael, Elder Castrilli, Officer Doreen, Officer Charmaine. And you sit back, you remember them, and you remember the faces, you remember the feasting, and the cutting of your days. What are you going to do when your eyes finally close and you have no more strength within you? Have you done everything that you should have done? And that's the scary prospect.
That is scary, because the Elder says that you could do good all your life, and then that moment you do something bad, and then you pass. That stuff that you did all that time, forget that. It's that last moment. That's what's going to count. And that's why nobody knows what tomorrow is going to bring.
No, it doesn't.
No one knows for sure how it's going to happen. So every day before you go to bed, you should give thanks and praise at least you remember his name, so that if you do pass, at least you remember, and he'll remember that you acknowledge him, so that, as I said last night, you can kind of accumulate some brownie points. You need to get as much as you can, because you never know when you're going to need those when you're in a deep situation.
It's very true what you're saying, and it's something solid that we have to always remember, that tomorrow technically doesn't exist. We make it up in our brain that we're going to wake up tomorrow, but no one actually said we are. we technically, we make up, we fabricate it, because why, we're used to waking up every day. So we assume tomorrow is promised. It's not.
So
Tomorrow doesn't exist. Are we there? No, we're in the present right now. Right now, we're here. You're looking at me, you're hearing me, you hear Elder Shadrach, you hear the council, you hear the priesthood, you hear all the teachings. Now is what counts. And every breath that we take, we're going to have to pay and say what we did with that breath. The breath is lended to us. And if you're lending, you have to give back and give an account. So it's very, very important for us to understand that. You make a decision. All of us in here and online, in cyber world, when you're at home, think about it. Are you called or are you truly chosen? And if you are chosen, what are those attributes? Let's go to Psalms 1. Let's touch on Psalms 1. We're going to go through some scriptures, and I want to go a little more deeper into the scriptures so you understand where we're coming from. And I'm going to read. Or do you want to read? Or you
yeah,
go?
I'll definitely.
Okay.
I'll go from there.
We're going to go easy with it because we still have some time. Okay? All right. Let's go. Psalms 1. Psalms 1 from the King James Version, 1611, please. We don't want NIJs and VICs and MI5s. We don't. We know not those versions.
So many versions.
1611 King James Version, please. That's the authorized version. And the authority to teach is our Elder Shadrach and the Council from the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. Okay, Elder Andor? Sorry, I called you Elder Andor. Do you know why? He's looking at me and smiling. That's why.
Yeah, you're putting all that heavy burden on me over there. I can't be in that shit.
Of course you can. All right, let's go.
Here we go.
Okay.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful.
Hold. Now this sounds like somebody that's chosen. Think about it. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. So you have ordered your steps.
Right.
You know the company that you keep. You know the company that you sit around is not in the counsel of the ungodly. That's very important to understand, because we read that and sometimes we can speed read through things and not really see what is being said to us. This is about a godly man, an Israelite man, Israelite men and women. That's what it's talking about. And it's showing, it's given us the blueprint, the answers. How do you become chosen? I'm going to tell you. You're going to walk in a counsel not of the ungodly, or stand in the way of sinners, or seated in the seat of the scornful. That's backbiting, talking, and this and that. You don't want that. Okay.
Standeth in the way of sinners. Sinners, in order for you to sin, you need to know the laws.
Right.
And therefore, if you don't know the laws, this is not for you.
So who's he speaking about?
It's all Israel.
Okay.
So you have to be an Israelite for this to apply.
Right.
So if you're not an Israelite, don't worry about it. But if you want to be amongst us, you're going to have to follow these laws. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no, well, I'll keep a little bit, and no. It's all or nothing. That's how the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob deals with us. It's all or nothing,
Right.
whether you're a stranger or not.
Good.
So therefore, it says sinners, you have to know the laws in order to break the laws to be a sinner.
Right.
So
Good. I
simply
like
put,
that. I like that. Okay. Let's continue.
Verse 2. But his delight is in the law. We just said that, of the law, Lord. And in his law doth he meditate day and night.
Do you know what it means to delight in the law of the Lord? What does it mean to delight in the law of the Lord?
There
Thank
go.
you. Thank you, Auntie Shaw. Shanette. When I'm up here, someone else speaks. Can't see you.
You know, it's like when you're happy about a music and you have it in your head, but you're not hearing it, and you're just going about, waltzing about. You're delighting in that.
You're
because you can
happy.
hear it. You're very happy.
You're joyful. Do you know what King
Joyful.
David said? Oh, magnify the Lord with me. That means, what does that mean? Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us what? Praise his name together. Let's rejoice together. What does that mean? Others could be moody. Others could be this. Others could be that. But me, I'm going to rejoice in the name of my God. I'm going to rejoice in the King of Kings. And I'm going to give praise to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Hi. Hi, Karen. I haven't seen Karen in a long time. It's good to see you. And I'm going to be happy in the God of Israel. Why? Let's read on. Let's see
Let's
why.
read on. Okay. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water.
That bringeth what?
That bringeth forth his fruit
Okay.
in his season.
Bringeth. So first of all, what's a tree? Let's understand what the tree is. And before you get to a tree, you have to be a small seed.
Right.
And the seed has got to go where? Into the ground, into darkness. You understand what I'm saying? You're not there for everybody to see you. You're in darkness. You have to go down into the earth. The rain's got to hit you. The snow's got to hit you. The flood's got to hit you. The sun's got to get you. The frost, everything has got to pound you and pound that soil. And then after a time in a season, what happens? The little, it casts a sprout. It starts to come up. And where is it? By the water. So it's drawing from the water for its nutrients, its vitamins, its minerals. It's perfect. There's nothing, when you read it, it's perfect. And you're drawing. What is your water? What is your supplements? I like supplements.
Right.
What's your nutritional vitamins? It's the word. It's listening to our elders, to our fathers, to our leaders. Listening to them teach. You're here. I'm glad you're here because you're drinking. You're feeding your spirit. You've got to feed your spirit. Don't let your spirit feed you. Because many spirits are wayward. And they want to do what they want to do. But you're drawing from truth, Elder Elvis.
That's it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me continue.
Yeah.
Also, I'll reread verse 3.
Yes, go ahead.
And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper.
That's amazing. Have you ever seen a tree planted by the water that's dead?
That's funny,
Never.
because in my house I have many trees that are growing. I know it's winter in Canada,
I heard.
but it's like a jungle. So at this time of the year, because the heater is on, I have to water it often so that they don't dry out. Because the minute that I stop watering them for a short period of time, the leaves also start to quail up. And they would drop off very fast. So I've got to water it often. And again, whenever I read this psalm, I'm already thinking, yeah, I know my plants, I got to keep them nourished, moist. Everything's got to be right for them to flourish in the middle of winter.
But do you see the simplicity of our God? Like, do you see how he used the simple elements around us to describe and to drive home the point of that godly man? Very simple. We don't even have to imagine. We don't have to think so much. Could you imagine if this was all cryptically code? We're like, what is he trying to say? You're sweating. You're like, what does he mean? But this is so simple. It's such a simple thing, but yet still it's so hard to understand that all you have to do is to keep his law, his statutes, his judgments to the best of your knowledge and ability. Stay humble. Stay obedient. Keep yourself married to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's another lesson in itself. I asked the question, what do you think is the hardest thing for Israelites to do? I said, start again, look in heaven. And then after that, come back and tell me. Look what happened in heaven. We'll do that one.
Right.
That's an exciting one. May trigger someone, but people. It's okay. We'll have to be triggered. Because if you're not triggered, you don't grow.
So
But think about that seed, that tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth fruit, prosperity in its time. You're going to see, you're going to prosper no matter what you do. Yes, you might get battered by the wind because you're exposed to the elements. The billows is going to roll against you. But guess what? That's a season. And all of a sudden, it's going to come to summer and you just start flourishing and prospering. And the God of Israel blesses you. And he blesses you in multiple different ways. And what do? You give shade, which means you share your prosperity with the others. Think about what he's saying. This is, again, called or chosen. Who are you? Because the fruits is what you're going to exhibit, whether you're called or chosen. Your personality, your character, it's going to show. There is no, and Elder Shadok is correct, you can't hide. There's no hiding. Because the God of Israel seeks everybody out. He seeks out the intentions and the thoughts of the heart far off.
that's it.
And when it's time, it will come to light. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let's do verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
The ungodly
The who?
are not, oh my goodness.
Say it louder.
So it's like we're talking about the first half, we've got the chosen.
Right.
the godly man. Now we're about to talk about the ungodly.
Okay.
So it says, the
Okay.
ungodly are not so, but are like the shaft which the wind driveth away. I mean, many of you've seen dried up stuff on the highway. You see how quickly the wind takes it, because there's nothing in it. It's not alive. It's dead. So the wind will just carry it all over the place. The birds even use it to make nests and stuff like that because it's dry twigs,
Right.
dry leaves. So therefore, you can't utilize that.
Right. Good.
So yeah.
Okay.
Verse 5. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Oh, man, that's heavy.
Do you know why I love the scriptures so much? Because they all interlock. And we're going to show that today. From this scripture, which is in the First Testament, to scriptures in the Second Testament. They're exactly the same thing. Exactly. They all interlock. We're going to read it together. So no one said, Priest Tyrone, you made it up. We're all going to read it together. All right? Okay, good. Keep
Let's
going.
finish it off here.
Yes.
For the Lord knoweth the righteous, but the way
No, say that again.
For the Lord,
Who's the Lord?
the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and God of Jacob.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay. Just want to make that clear.
There's
Because
just
many
one true
people
and
call
living God.
people lords.
We
That
can't
is-
talk about other gods other than the true.
No,
and
we
living
must talk
God.
about other gods. You know why? He spoke about other gods. Elder
Right,
Elvis.
but those are like the small guys, the guys that you and I in the past made with our hands
I didn't make any gods with my
and
hands.
decide to have. So
I didn't do
this
it.
is it. This is
I
it.
didn't do it,
Check this
man.
out. Check this out.
I did not. Wait, for the record, I made no gods with my hands. I'm not Aaron. I didn't do it. Elder Elvis has confessed. I told you there's no hiding. I told you there's no hiding.
So, the winter time, he goes out, he makes his snowman.
I never did that. Listen, in the UK, there's no snow.
but hear this though, the idea of making something. I'm still trying to rattle my brain around this. Maybe I should stop.
Get
That
it out.
You make something. You decide to take a wood or chisel and chisel out a stone, and you decide to give this thing that has no life power over you. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't get this. But anyways, it says, for the Lord knows they the righteous, but the way of the ungodly
Shall
perish.
perish. So it's showing two separate people. Chosen, called. Which one are you?
It's okay.
We have an astute young man who's coming to the mic with a question. He's incredibly young. He is
man.
young. When you look upon
I'm
him,
flattered.
and
by the way.
he is young in appearance and his stature.
I am flattered. Not so much
Brother
a question, but I think what might lend some credence to the understanding, because back then we knew in terms of another God. But today in 2024, another God could be different things that you put in front of
Yes.
the objective of serving the God of Israel. Like, for example, someone can put their lifestyle or even going to the gym all the time, and you can't pass up the mirror.
Right.
So your physical appearance
Yes.
and everything takes precedence over the God of Israel. So in essence, you've created something that you worship. So if you can't understand how somebody could do something like that, because back in those days they knew that if they made this carving, if they made this, and if they prayed to it, and if they kept doing what they were doing, something would appear to help them.
Yes.
But nowadays you have people that they can't get off of, for example, social media.
Right.
So social media has now become that person's God.
Yes.
And then everything that you feed and get from social media, which is usually antisocial, if you could visualize that.
Yeah.
Social media is actually antisocial. And when it comes to the internet, you can learn from it. There's so much information, but then there's the social media aspect of it, which a lot of people are wrapped up into. So that becomes their God, or the following that they follow becomes their God, where you can see something as plain as day in front of you, like visiting the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries and learning about the name of your God, but yet bypass that and say, no, I know what it says in Exodus 3:15, but I'm going to choose this instead and call my God by this name, which doesn't exist in a language that was made up So these are all examples of serving another god.
100%.
So you have to be very, very smart, because in this day and age, our enemy is extremely cunning.
Very.
So
Thank you, Elder Freddie. 100% Elder Freddie. I mean, even just like following up from Elder Freddie, it's so true. Like, you see everybody on social media, is it TikTok and all these things?
Right.
And Instagrams. Am I trying to behave like I don't know? But, and you see them taking 1 million selfies. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? You're so in love with yourself. You know, it's this self-worship,
Wow.
this over self-adornment of foolishness, because it really is foolishness. And you see that, and you just take away from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I mean, we are so happy at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministry at 202 Bentworth that we are grateful, because let me just do a little interjection.
Right.
We're grateful because even in reading this, we know that we are on that path of being chosen. We're taking it seriously. Do you know why? Because we read, he shall what? Be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His delight is what? In the what?
The law.
Okay, so we keep the law, and today is what?
A Sabbath day.
Today is the Sabbath day, official Sabbath day. The new moon marks the Sabbath day. And we should, in fact, be very grateful and always show our gratitude to our elder Shadrach for showing us that. You cannot forget that. You see, and the reason why, and I'll tell you why. Because Moses went up 40 days, just 40 days. They couldn't wait 40 days. What's 40 days? I'll be chilling. I'll kick, you know, they're not beating me so much no more. I've got gold, I've got food, I've got the finest of jewelry or clothes. I'm cool, man. I saw the sea part. Let me chill. No, you go and you build a golden calf.
Oh my goodness.
You built a golden calf. And you worshipped and said, these be thy gods, O Israel, that brought you up out of the land of Egypt. These be thy gods. And now the shadow came at the call and revealed again the name of our God. There's no difference with our Father. He does the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? He did the same thing. He said, come to these people. Let me teach you about my God. They spit on him. Imagine that. I'm not being funny. Try that with me these days. I'll give you something called the fivefold ministry. It's my personal ministry that I developed over the years. It's this hand and this hand. But we won't go there today. But they spat on him. And they pushed him and shoved him to the ground, only for revealing the name of our God. What do you think our people did back then? The same. Maybe worse.
Well, they killed
They
all
went
the
to kill.
prophets.
I'm talking about Moses.
Oh, man.
You, Moses, wasn't it you the one that tried to frame him up and stitch him up? Moses had to run, high knees. Talk about Olympics and sprinting. He had to belt it through the wilderness. No one's going to chase him through the wilderness. But there was a physical thing. He had to go through the wilderness, the stripping, the cleansing, the removal of all the gods of Egypt out of his system. 40 years. Think about this, brethren. This is a serious subject matter. Don't just run over it. Moses had to go through 40 years of being ripped out, stripped down of all the gods that he was serving or being part of. 40 years. You come in 2 minutes and think that we're going to get to the top. As Elder Freddie said, how many gods did we know, right? How many gods do we know? Elder Elvis knew many. He said he made them. You know? So, you know, he made a few. You know, I don't know. What was the name? What was the name of your favorite god?
But just on that point, though, when you talked about Moses being stripped, an example of the ones that didn't get stripped is the fact that they saw those miracles. They saw the Red Sea, and immediately because Moses left, they wanted to build, and they're complaining, where's the leeks and cucumbers? Or you bring it out here to starve, can God furnish a table? So they already had that stuff still in, so you could understand. It took 40 years for it to get out of Moses?
40 years.
40, and for these guys coming out, they had it was thick in them still. So that's why we're all that bickering, the complaining, demanding, being ungrateful. Like, they were complaining of the fact that, the taskmaster has been so hard on us. Yet when the rescue came, oh man, we got to go back. We're missing the leeks and the cukes and all of these things.
And then there was 40 years in the wilderness
to get rid of the
But
guys
from where
that-
they were,
yeah.
from the Red Sea to Canaan, is 11 days. It's an 11 days journey. 11 days journey took them 40 years because of what? Their stubborn and stiff-necked ways and unbelief. 40 years, the God of Israel had to strip them out. Understand what we're talking about here. Who's called and who's chosen, and what do you have to go through? Is it easy? Is it easy? Do you know what your fathers did to you when you was a child? Do you know what your mother did to you when you was a child? Do you know what your aunties, your uncles, do you know what they did to you when you... No, you don't. Your family may have entrusted you, oh yes, take my daughter, you look after children when they're young, you're there sleeping, they're doing witchcraft over you. Do you know that? You have no idea, and you're going through all these problems in life. You're going through things happening to you, all this trauma happening to you. You don't understand what you've gone through. You need to be stripped. It's a necessity. Absolutely. You need to hit rock bottom. You have to in order to go up. You can't go to the bottom and go to the bottom. When you're bottom, you've got to go up. And so that stripping must take place. Don't be afraid of it. Some of us are too afraid to be stripped down, and so we run. And that's what happened. Rather than them going through the burden, going through being stripped down, they went and they brought bread to the Queen of Heaven.
Oh man,
made themselves even worse.
That is
They
terrible.
made themselves worse. You turned your back from your husband, man, because he said, I'm married to you. I'm married to you. I can't divorce you, Israel. Imagine that. The pain of this husband, man. I'll be in pain. Just want to get rid of him. Get rid of him. That's why Moses said, that's why the God of Israel said, oh, Moses, leave me. It's my favorite part of the scripture, right? When I read it. Let me alone, Moses. Okay, you go. Let me, my anger wax hot. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked to see it. Now, what does it look like? just observe, not to be, part of it. Just observe. Like, what is his anger really wax hot? It's exciting, huh?
Oh boy.
I tell you what it is. Look inside yourself. Some of us have got it deep down inside. We've got to control it.
It's hard
You've got to
for
control
us
it
to do that.
because we're part of our Father.
Yeah.
All right? But this is what I'm trying to say. He had mercy on us, brethren. Even then, Moses said, turn from thy fierce anger. That's brave. I don't know. I couldn't raise my voice to even Elder Shadrach. I can't raise my voice to the God of Israel. You can't raise your voice to your elders.
But that shows that relationship between
That's a heavy
Moses
relationship.
and God.
But he still got corrected for
But, he
raising
still
his voice.
but us try that, we would have been already
Okay.
gone.
Okay, as you walk out, you're just dead. Or something happened to
We
you.
wouldn't even get there.
You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm trying to say. We get stripped down to be made perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to go through that process. How else do you expect to be chosen? We've expressed in the beginning, you go through a selection process, a training process. Being an Olympic athlete, you don't get to have a gold medal because you woke up in the morning, decided to stretch your legs, did a couple high knees, a couple burpees, and go run 100 meters. As you come on the blocks, your hamstrings busted, your nose is busted, your arms all that shit, you're finished. I've seen it happen to people that think that they're fast and they've retired. And it's funny to observe. I said, but you didn't put no work in. What work did you put in? So what right do you think you should be chosen? Why?
Yeah,
Put the work in.
I remember doing something like that.
You did?
I had to show
Oh, Elder Elvis is
hours.
good. Confession. First he's worshipping gods, making gods.
No,
Now
that's
he's
not
now-
what I mean. I meant that to get, because I competed a lot in different things, and to get to a championship level, I had to show up hours. I'm not talking half hour. I'm talking hours before this actual get together. Train like as if my heart's gonna bust. Then do the training, and then stayed hours after. You had to put all that work just to get to the championship level.
This is what I listen. If you want, and this is being very real in the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. If you want to be chosen, you have to be willing to work and make sacrifices maybe beyond what you think you can do. You have to be willing to be hit, brethren.
Absolutely.
Friends and guests online. You have to be willing to accept the challenge of being tortured. What did they do to our fathers who were the prophets? What did they do to them? They beat them, killed them, spit on them. Look at Stephen. Poor Stephen.
Oh man.
He didn't do anything wrong.
They stoned him whilst he called on the name of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, and they closed their ears to them hearing the truth, and they stoned that man to death. Do you know what it feels like to be stoned? Do you? No, truly. Do you know how painful it is? It's very painful to slow death. And because he stood on righteousness, he refused. And do you understand how much a man has to love you to still have mercy upon you? Do you know what the Christ must have been feeling in the body of Jesus? Do you know what he felt? He goes, look what they're doing to me. And all I'm here is bringing the word of my God so that I can help you guys have a place. When I go to my Father, there is a place for you. I'm gonna, it's so painful. Think about it, brother. I want you to feel this. Don't just feel today, then okay, that was a nice feeling. You go home and you forget it. Because sometimes you walk out the door, you forget everything. Chris. Peace, Chris.
Point there, when you're talking about the suffering, and it's just like your perspective on it just is similar to mine as far as just like, because it talks in Galatians about long suffering, and that's always the one word that stands out the most to me, because it talks about meekness, talks about all these other things. It's so nice, and it's just like the long suffering as well, as far as the type of spirit that you need. And just like life in general, and just the relationship between us and the God of Israel, he's not going to come down to you, and he's not going to sit down, and it's not like the relationship between Moses and the God of Israel where you can actually have a conversation. But life, life is suffering. Like that's like nobody in this life goes through life and you don't suffer. Like we all have to suffer. You understand? But it's about what you choose to. But you get to choose though.
No, you don't.
You choose your suffering to a degree.
Yeah, I get you.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
You get to choose. You can suffer now and it'll be good later, or it could be good now, you could suffer later. Mm-hmm. But you still get to choose. Like the choice is still like ours, even in regards to our relationship with our Heavenly Father, the God of Israel, and our relationship and how we maintain our relationship. We get to choose, that level of suffering. And so, life is just like, that's like how you learn. Pain is like how you learn in this life. Even if I was watching Zabaya the other day when I took her to the park, and she went and slipped and fell, and she went and hurt herself, and then she went and did it again, but it was just like how she did it was different. It was like the pain was a learning thing for her. Like that's how she got to learn how to do it correctly. You understand? So I don't see, when I see long suffering, I see pain and suffering and all these things you've written about in the Bible, I look at it as a beautiful thing because it's an opportunity. Like I remember I was a child, somebody had told me, I can't remember, he's like, pain is good. He's like, if you don't feel pain, I mean you're dead.
This is true.
The pain means you're alive.
It's true. That's true.
So I just wanted to add to that point.
I like that, Chris. Thank you very much. No, that's good. Go ahead.
In relation to what Chris just said about the long suffering, that reminds me about Job.
Right.
Because Job, he was, I guess in the eyes of God, it was perfect. But the fact that he had to go through all that suffering and yet still stayed steadfast.
Do you know what I like that story?
I love that.
Before we go to the next scripture, that the story of Job is like the story of Israel. It is. The God of Israel has a hedge around his people.
Right.
And he protects them. And he blesses them. Why? According to them doing what he has requested them to do. Keep the law, statutes, and the commandments. But then now, when the other side they come, who are they looking at? Did he look at the other world? He said, no, I got them. I'm not interested in them. But this one, you, Israel, this apple of the God of Israel's eye, this gem, this son, I don't like him. I don't know, I need to test him. Like, what makes him, what makes you so special? What makes you the peculiar people, as he said back in Deuteronomy 7, a holy people, a royal priesthood? What makes you so special? I've got to test that. And they're going to test vigorously because that's their job and they enjoy it. But I've got a combat for that because we see it's painful, right? We're painful. It's pain, it's flesh. You're going through try this one. You know when you're going through your time of tribulation, smile. Just smile. Put a big grin on your face. First thing in the morning, drink some water, clear out the system, and smile. Try.
You know, that's a very
And then
tricky challenge. though.
no. It's only tricky because it's in your mind.
You mean it's a state of mind?
It's a state of mind. Get up
Okay.
and smile and say, you know what? I'm going to put on the shield. I'm going to pick up a sword. Whoever's coming at me, come. Come. You see, when you're fighting an enemy, you can't run away from it and then still expect to win. You have to fight it in order to win. Elder always said, you never win a fight and become a champion unless you fight. You got to be in the fight. So fight it. Pick up a sword, pick up the biggest sword you can and hit it. Don't be afraid, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Principalities and powers, spiritual wickedness in high places, rulers of darkness of this age. That's a lot. That's a lot. And then take on the fact, the one that sits beside you, that you have to be very spiritually aware and resilient as to what's around you. So you must fight. Being an Israelite, you have to fight. Job gave a good example. I'm glad he showed how to fight. Use the word. The Christ showed how to fight. But let's move on, because we can talk about it for a long time.
There's so much stuff.
There's a lot. Let's go to Matthew 22. And this is a continuation from part 1 that we never got to go into. So this is an extension. There might be a third, I'm thinking. But let's go to Matthew 22. We're going to read from verse 1. Okay, Old Elvis,
Yeah,
you got
absolutely.
that? Okay,
Here we go.
all right.
22.
22, yes.
And Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parable.
So let's understand something. Elder Shadrach, he had revealed some time ago that Jesus didn't say anything. Jesus is just the body. The Christ is what's speaking. And if you're an Israelite, truly understanding that, you would know that. Okay, just wanted to make that clear, because everybody thinks Jesus spoke. Jesus didn't say anything. Okay.
You know, most of the Bibles have that red text, so
And so that's why we're here to teach them.
That's
And we're going to show them. We're going to show them.
okay, so
All right.
here we go.
Okay.
The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
Hold on, did you say marriage for his son? So the God of Israel said, I'm married to you. Way back in Jeremiah. Let's understand, there's no separation of this book. There's no contradiction. They all say exactly the same thing, and very powerfully each time.
And it already says the kingdom of
And the kingdom of heaven.
right.
So we're in alignment.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go.
Verse 3. And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Wow, can you imagine that?
So
High
I'm calling you.
status.
Yeah,
High
there you go.
status is inviting you. It's like in today's time, they're not really kings and queen, but say the king and queen of England, Charles now says, sends you an invitation, invite you to come. Hey, come, we're having a little thing. You're actually going to turn it down. That's an insult,
It is.
a very high insult.
And here, we're talking about the creator of the heavens and the earth. Let's understand what he's saying.
Right.
I'm saying, come, people. Come. I'm calling you. Many are called. The few, well, not the few are chosen. Everything's in alignment. Come, guys. Come and drink of my fruit, of my drink, of my table. Eat. Come and sit at the Passover. We've got something very important about the Passover.
Yeah.
This is Passover season coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the more time you have to get ready to fight. Because what happened during that time in the days of old when our fathers were leaving Egypt, they were pursued by the enemy. They didn't want to let them go. They didn't want to let them go. So guard yourself. When you see these things happening, know the season you're living in. You're a spiritual people. We are a spiritual organization, and they're coming. All right? Guard yourself. Okay.
Yeah, let me backtrack a bit. On
Yes.
verse 3, it says, to them that were, so it's not to everybody. So it says, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden. It's mean it was selected to come to the wedding, but they wouldn't come. Verse 4. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, and other servants, the prophets, you have to keep that in mind. It's the same as in the old as it is in new. Verse 4. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. You know, today, for us Israelites, you said, hey, we're having a feast, oxtail, lamb, it's packed. You know that.
Physical food.
Physical food. But here we're talking spiritual. And again, the ones that were chosen, that were bidden to come to this particular, and it's not everybody, just the one that were bidden, verse 5. But they made light of it and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. Oh my goodness. So you guys, in those days, they slew the servants of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and God of Jacob.
They rejected them.
Spitefully too. It's not like they actually, they knew they were coming and they did it on purpose, and they must have done wickedness.
Do you know, again, the story of Stephen is even describing right here. What do you think he did to those? Didn't he do the same thing? And they killed him. Same thing. The story is this: there is no separation in here. They're all the same. But if you have the eyes to see, you would see it. And when that happens, that should spark of something inside of you, some physiological change. There has to be. If there isn't, then there's something wrong. Then there has to be a spiritual change that happens after that. Because why? The word is hitting your spirit, and the spirit is now changing. And it has to adapt, and it has to learn. And it has to change. If it doesn't change, you're not growing. If you don't go through pain, you're not growing. We have to grow. So you must go through that developmental process.
That's right.
Okay,
As
let's read it.
tried.
Exactly.
Scripture says you got to go through it as silver is tried and retried to
That's
get
it.
all that stuff out of you, all that negative, all that bad things out of you. Verse
Right.
7. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their cities. Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which are bidden were not worthy.
Do you know how
my
you don't want to hear that? And I'm going to tie this up to another scripture so you understand exactly what this, the deeper part of this. I'm calling you, but you're so stubborn, you're so stiff-necked. I'm telling you what to do. I'm the king. I got the solution. Come to my wedding. A king, come sit at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. Listen to the voice of our elder Shadrach and the councils. Listen to them. Listen to the priesthood. Eat, have life to your bones and your marrow. Let it grow again. Be stripped. Be willing to be stripped of all the gunk and funk inside of you. Get it out. It took Moses, I said, 40 years. That's a long time to be stripped down. Most of us here is 10, maybe, if that, 5, a couple.
Full generation.
30. We still got a generation to go. Imagine that, 40 years. Look to your 40 years, those who are, Elder Sophie. That's it. Elder Sophie, yep, 40 years is coming. It's coming. Elder Freddie, yes. Almost 4, yes. Oh. Elder Michael, yes. You're 50 already. No, not quite Elder Michael. Elder Elaine, oh my gosh. We're coming to that, you're coming to that 40. You're coming. It's coming fast, so expect something. Change. Expect something. There's something significant in there.
That's right.
Elder Michael.
That's the time that they spent in Israel. So
that's it.
So that's what Pristara is alluring to. It's not that your natural age is.
No.
It's the time that you are in Israel. I'm still so young. I'm very young.
I'm younger than you.
Yeah.
But the key is stay. Stay, brethren. Stay. Where else would you rather be? The children of Israel, they had to go 40 years in the wilderness. 40 years for 11 days journey. 11. Walk around in circles. You guys are winding me up.
Imagine
all of you guys have got to die in the wilderness. The children will go through, and Caleb and Joshua, that's it. All you big ones, no, go and die in the wilderness. That 40 years, then they went through to the new one. 40. I don't know, brethren. I don't want to be the one dying in the wilderness. I want to go through. But you're going to do what's right. Our fathers did what was wrong, and they loved it. They loved the wickedness. Let's not be like them. Let's learn from their mistakes. Okay, let's speed read through.
Verse 8.
Mhm.
Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid them to the marriage.
Mhm.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good.
What? Say that again?
Oh my goodness. Both bad and
Wait,
good.
hold on. Bad?
Yeah, bad and good.
Oh,
It says right there.
okay. Bad and good.
Yeah,
That was out in the highways.
that was out
Were
and
they?
about.
Were they Israel?
No,
Could they be?
it says
okay.
go out and gather whoever's, because
So-
you got to have that wedding.
So I just want you to put a pin there.
Okay.
Put a pin there, Elder Elvis. And I'm going to read something in relation to that specific, because you know you hear that the God of Israel only wants black people. Is that right?
Somebody
right,
must be reading the wrong text then.
Is that right, Elder Michael? He only likes black people. You never heard that? I thought you told me. I'm joking. But I'm going to read something very quickly. You don't have to turn it. Just you stay there. 1 Kings 8, and it's very specific. Why the Bible, why the word is the same. I'm going to go quickly to 1 Kings 8. I'm going to go to 41. It says, moreover, this is after Solomon had built the temple, and he stood before the congregation of Israel, and he spread forth his hands, and he said, moreover, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people, Israel. Who are they? What did you just read, Elder Elvis?
It says good and bad, out in the highways.
That is not of thy people, Israel, but cometh out of, far country. No, okay. For thy name's sake.
Right.
For they shall do what? Hear of thy great name, and of thy strong hand, and of thy stretched out arm, when he shall come and pray toward this house. Hear thou in heaven, thy dwelling place. So the stranger, we just read it in the first, I just read it in the first, and also he just confirmed it in the second. There's no difference. I'm going to confirm even more. No difference. So be careful. Because now he's saying, you who are here, you're not listening to me. You're not listening. So I'm going to call a stranger, and they're going to come and they're going to serve me. Those that is not of thy people Israel, meaning they don't look like you. They don't look like you. But they're going to serve me with all their heart and all their mind. And I'm going to hear in heaven, my dwelling place, their prayers. I'm going to do everything what they ask for, because you stubborn, stiff-necked ones, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I called you, you guys are messing up because we read it. They didn't care. This old priest, this priest called Blackbeard, he's annoying me. You know, he's always talking these things. I don't like, Elder Andor, what's wrong with you? You're always saying those things to me, man. This old man, Elder Michael, listen to them. Listen to them. Entreat them.
But we know the truth is not sweet, and it's not
The truth
decorated.
it's sweet, man. The
What?
truth is sweet. It's our
That-
mouth that's sour.
But
That's-
see,
well,
here's
not
the
mine.
thing. It's like
You know?
it's like the people that came out of Egypt, that first crop. It's not sweet. They want to go back because they could see and touch. Like they're so physical.
It's very physical. I'm not
So
seeing the
physical.
spirit part of it. But again, we're talking about many are called, a few are chosen. And we're going a bit deeper in this time. Really deep in. So let's think about ourselves. It's about self-reflection and where we are in positioning ourselves at this moment in time with our Father in heaven. Because like I said, tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow does not technically exist. It doesn't. You make plans for it, you can hope. Let's hope. Do you know that every minute someone passes away, you can do your check, your data statistics.
We always
Every
take that for
minute,
We take everything for granted.
We're still here. How much you been here? How many minutes have we been here since we woke up? We're still here. We're breathing. We know the Sabbath day. We're keeping the Sabbath day. We kept it holy. Just that one. Tomorrow could be a different story.
So true.
The next minute could be a different story. You're hearing tragedies on the road. All this foolishness happening in and around Markham. A woman, or this person driving her car, I like Honda CRVs, they're very dangerous to me. Small, cheap, but driving, the car got cut in half. Went into the other lane, the car got cut in half. They said there was nothing, there's nothing. No survivors. The other one there goes steal a Mercedes, nice one, G-Wagon, flipped on his side, dead. injured 6 people, critical. Not one Israel is harmed. People getting shot in Toronto, no one's harmed. They're flying them in from other countries, do the crime and then going, hitting people. Why? Not one Israel is harmed. Tell me if you're not selected to be chosen. Don't take it for granted. Tell me that those that work, the barrier that was around Job is not protecting you night and day. Night and day. Don't take that for granted. Don't take that for granted. Because those that we cannot see are working on our behalf to ensure our safety. Even to get here today. Those that have traveled from far distances to ensure you get in one time. What it takes is a lapse of concentration, the end. Finish.
So true.
Okay, let's read this through.
Let's continue. I'll reread verse 10.
10, yes.
Yeah. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. Can you imagine that? You get invited to this high prestigious event, wedding, and you come in your rag like as if you just woke up out of bed. Like, come on, man. You know you got the invitation, or they were called to say, hey, in 2 days we're having this great grand wedding. Dress up nice, come in, and be ready to fill your belly and be happy. And you decide to wake up out of bed and rush, like didn't even comb your hair, put on a rag. Just pass him out. Because it looks so rag. You don't fit in. You don't fit in. Everybody's all decked out and nice. Yet you're coming in with all, what's that?
I tell you what it is. It's the lack of humility and respect for the king. Lack of it, complete, and it's a complete disregard to his structure and his hierarchy. Complete. And I can come as I want. I'm not going to respect the rules. That's important. Listen to what he's saying. I don't care for the rules. I come out, I do what I want. That's what that is. And that's a high level of disrespect, because where I've grown up, you respect your elders.
Absolutely.
And your elders might be a king, it's someone of authority that's above you. You respect them, because that is their charge. That is their, if you like, their own domain. But you come to the presence of my God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, with no humility, and you're just going to do what you want. It's okay. It's just you Israelites, scruffy ones. How do you think the God of Israel is going to feel when he set such a grand table for you? He called you. He furnished the table for you. He gave you anything you wanted. He protected you when you didn't even realize you needed protection. Did you know that? Half the time that when they pull back that curtain and you see what's actually around you and what's supposed to happen, you should be falling on your face night and day. We should. Because they're out to get us. Don't make the mistake thinking that they are not out to get you. They are. You are children of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. You are prized possession. You are selected people. You know the new moon and the Sabbath. You are the only ones who can call upon his name on the new moon and the Sabbath, and he can lend his ear. Tell me which other nation has that ability to do that. Tell me which other nation has the authority to call his name. Tell me the other nation that knows the new moon and Sabbaths, that know all of the holy days, how to turn towards Jerusalem. Tell me. Show me them. There isn't. Look at yourself. And then now say just how special I am. And just how much of a prize the other side want. I want him. I must get her back. And I'm going to. And they're going to do everything. We deal with a master of manipulation.
maybe we can give them a quick reference as to how
Go ahead.
valuable they are, because
Go
I
ahead.
mean everybody knows rubies, diamonds, emeralds, gold,
Mhm.
how valuable you put the level of value on it, how precious.
Mhm.
But you're like about 1 billion times more than that. It's hard to conceive, but yes, you're far more precious than gold, silver, ruby, and diamonds, and all of these things that people kill for. But you're way, way above that. That is how valuable you are. And that's why you have to stay on this path, because the other side does want you. You're like that bright light in the pure, complete darkness.
That's right.
The only one that actually shines light. And that's why they all gravitate towards you. So you have to remember these things. And I know it's kind of hard for us sometimes to grasp what we're saying up here about these, trying to look at it in that way, but that is how it is. So
And that's a good point. That's a very good point. You see, a light, you can't hide light under a bushel. You can't. You cannot hide it. You're going to attract good and bad. You have to understand that. From the day you decided, I'm going to be an Israelite, I'm going to sit at the Passover. Understand something. When we sit the Passover, which is coming up very soon, you must be in one accord, especially with our elder Shadrach and the council. You can't sit down there and say, I don't like this, I don't like. What kind of thing is that? Huh? I don't want you at my party. If I have a feast and you don't like me, why are you coming to eat the food? You're hungry? You understand what I'm saying?
But
And that's a feast. We're talking about a spiritual,
Right.
ordained. The God of Israel said, this you do throughout all your generations. He gave instruction. I'm come to you.
right.
That's why when you think about what he just spoke about, the marriage feast is no different. Think about Passover. He gave the exact same instructions, how to do the lamb. And by the way,
Oh man.
let's understand about goat and sheep. I'm coming there.
Two
right?
separate.
Two separate things. If there cannot be no sheep and you substitute it with goat. There is nowhere in the scriptures you substitute sheep, lamb, pure, first year, unblemished. No deformities and this kind of sheep kind of thing, clean and fresh. And say I'm going to have a goat. No, there's a reason why there's a goat and why I don't eat goat. And my grandmother was wise. You know why? You ever heard of the term scapegoat? Why is it called a scapegoat? Because you put all the blame on it. And it's used for what? Sin. So they put all the sin on the goat. And in the book of Deuteronomy it said in the law, let it into a land where there's no inhabitants. Let the goat go. Don't eat it. Don't kill it. You're going to go, no, I like the curry goat. Yeah, Knox? I like the curry goat. I'm going to kill this goat. I'm going to curry him up nice. I'm going to lap it down, and then you wonder why your knee hurt, your back hurt. You have all these issues in life. You understand? You know, someone's working OB on you. All these things happening to you because you go and eat the curry goat.
Wait, I think they don't know what that word okay, obia
What do you
means
know?
witchcraft.
Or witchcraft and all. You know why? Because they're used for a specific ritual. We can go deeper into that, but not today. But I'm answering the question, can you substitute goat, a lamb for goat? No, you cannot. When the goat and the lambs are together, you take it out of it amongst them, you put it aside.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't have and say, I'm going to select a goat. A goat is for sin offering. The end. Okay, Elder Harriet.
One thing that you were saying earlier, you got to remember when you're joining this army, you're on a hit list. I call it the hit list. Once we
Right.
hear, we baptize and whatever, you're on a hit list. And you can be taken away at any time, so you got to hold your post.
Right.
Right? And two, to another thing that you said earlier, you said when you come to a feast and you're eating, you don't like the person and you're still there celebrating and doing what you got to do with the person, right? Are you eating to your own detriment,
Yes,
not
you
liking
are.
the person and whatever the case may be?
100%. You have to understand something. We might be doing something that may appear physical,
Right.
but what we're doing is highly spiritual. We're not doing something, it's not a party. It's not a party. Listen to the term, feast. It's not a party. So you make right with, if Shernet doesn't like me or I don't like Shernet, I have to go to Shernet and make peace. But Shernet likes me anyway.
But you know a
Right?
funny thing
You
too
have
is,
Huh?
sorry, but you know when you go to a feast or somewhere and you're feeling nice,
Yes.
doesn't the food taste nicer?
No, no. It tastes even better.
Better.
And
It
do you know what
tastes
happens?
so
You know what
good.
happens? There's more food.
Yes.
Have you ever been to a feast where there's, you just eat one plate, you just
But-
are full up? I have.
Check this out though.
Several feasts. I'm eating, I'm like, I was hungry. I was hungry because I wanted to eat and enjoy, but that one thing, I couldn't even eat no more.
But I've gone to parties where I'm feeling vexed, and it just doesn't taste good. It's like, cause I'm thinking about that thing that's bugging me, and it's like I'm trying to eat, but it's like just
Because of the gods you made, that's why.
no.
I'm only
It just
joking.
doesn't taste good. But when you're feeling nice and the vibe is good and you're well with everybody, it is so enjoyable.
Look, we are a spiritual organization.
Right.
Elder Shadrach has been saying this from day one. We are, everything we're doing has a repercussion. It does. It has a physical and it has a spiritual repercussion. Are you willing to go through what it brings, brethren? Do you want to be chosen? By that response, no one wants to be chosen. All right? Nobody. Okay. Okay. Well, honesty is the
Want to
best
be
policy.
chosen.
Only Elder Sophie?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to be chosen.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Elder Sophie.
Yes, I definitely want to be chosen and keep being chosen.
Right.
Yeah, that's my dream, my wish. So I think back in the days, there was, you have your parents and there's always that respect. So it doesn't matter what your parents did to you, if you like it or not, you keep your mouth shut. That's just how we were raised in our generation. Doesn't matter from the Caribbean, it's just, there was no voice. Like we never had a voice. So I think when we came into the nation, I think for our young children now coming up, I think a lot of us are taking what we're given for granted because we have more voice. And so much voice sometimes just, it's the opposite because a lot of people talk about, even not just here, but even work, it's the same conversation is my children, oh my gosh, they just passed me, or my children this, my children doesn't do this, my children, and everybody's remembering back in the days. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to the feast. It's like we become so physical for the feast that we just show up. We're not thinking about, you know what I mean, okay, I'm going there, but I know there's something going on with me and between myself and the person. You just show up because you're not thinking about the spiritual part of it. And since I've been in the nation, I'm always hearing about the spiritual part of it. And it's the same thing goes with who we are as a people. Our children just needs to understand, like even if they're going out, it's just the principles we're based upon. It's the same principles we're reading about, you know what I mean, right now in Matthew 22. It's the same thing. It's, you got to think about when you're, to get an invitation, that's a bonus.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there is, if I get an invitation and you don't, sometimes there's not even a jealousy. So it's like, I don't care. That's the mentality. I don't care if I'm invited or not. But it's just not, I don't care attitude. It's sometimes you got to ask yourself why.
Why?
Right.
And I think that's what's missing with a lot of us, myself. And sometimes it's just the why. It's just you just go without thought. And then the decision at the end is like, oh, if I did do this and this and this, then it would have been a better outcome.
Do you know, I like that. And you actually made me think about something that was in the back of my mind, Elder Sophie. That's very good. And the reason why, our Elder Shadrach has taught us something very important about the feasts and the timekeeping of feasts.
Right. Oh,
It's very important about your feast time. You don't know who's coming at that feast and why you must be in unity, because a feast is not just for us to sit down and to have a good time. You don't know what gifts are coming, even maybe for you sitting inside there enjoying the feast. You don't know the healing that can come, the blessings that come from your presence being in that feast. That's why when we read that scripture, bind him. Okay, bind him, because he came and disregarded the whole presence and the atmosphere, physically and spiritually. He didn't come ready. He didn't come. And that's why we understand about the importance of why we must start on time for feasting, why we must be ready for feasting, why we have to have that one accordness and get what it is. Do you know something what Priest Ricardo back in the UK, you know what he used to say? He used to say to us, you know, when I first come to the nation, he said, whatever it is, you know, brethren, with passion, I hope he's watching this so, you know, he can remember what it is. You know, and he used to bang on to all of us in there when he's teaching. Get it out of you. Get it out of you. Whatever it is in there, get it out of you. I can't say it in his accent. He's a bit, you know,
What does that
different.
mean? That you've converted to being a Canadian
I'm not
now?
Canadian, Elder Elvis. I'm 100% still British, right?
But
No. Who said that? Someone said a British. But he would say, get it out of you. And do you know what it is? Whatever this thing here, and he always used to point here, and I used to look at him back in the old days, and whatever it is here, if I can't go up to you and genuinely hug you, there's something blocking me and you. There's something wrong. Get rid of that. That's what he means. Because if you can't get rid of that, how could the Spirit of God work through you? How can the Spirit of truth work? It won't. It cannot work. If Moses didn't fall on his face. Look, Moses fell on his face before the children of Israel. This is Moses. He's the most powerful man in the world. He walked up in the fiery places with God of Israel. And he saw the backside of God. He spoke to the Father mouth to mouth. He came down, his face shone so bright, they had to put a veil over his face. He couldn't look upon him. And they did wickedly to him. They wanted to kill him and Aaron. What did he do? He fell on his face before Israel and said, spare them, God of Israel. This is Moses, man. We don't have no rights to be upset on these things. We don't. Think about that. I don't. What for? If the most powerful man in the world did this for us so that we could live today, the man I'm talking about, and he begged the God of Israel, turn from thy fierce anger. He took a hit for us, by the way. That was a hit. That's a sacrifice. He didn't have to. He could have said, all right, cool. I'm going to have a nice generation through me, and I'm going to go to the promised land. Okay, kill him. They're wicked. Look, God of Israel. Look what they're doing. They're going to go in the car, kill him. He didn't do that. He come down and he did kill. I understand that part. Because now when he saw it, he's like, huh? Oh no, blood has to shed. Blood has to shed. You built a golden calf? Strip yourself naked? After all what happened? No. 3,000 men, Israel died that day. Grind that down. Israel, drink it. Maybe that's the sin that's inside of you. Hold up, it's why you built those gods those days. It's still in your bloodstream. I joke.
I'm trying to get rid of it, whatever is there.
Get rid of it. But this is what we're saying. That's what brings the unity, and that will show, it will show a difference. It would show the difference because there's a requirement of who is called and who's merely called and who's chosen. Be the one that's chosen, but exhibit the traits, the behavior pattern of those that are chosen. You cannot hate Moses, the leader, and expect to be well with you. Look what happened to Korah. And Korah was a minister. Did you know that? He was a minister. He dealt with the articles of the altar. And he hated Moses. Wow. And he gathered up those around the family to hate Moses and kill him. We will not come down. What kind of disrespect? Elder Sophie said it about respecting our parents and our elders. Moses said, come. No, I'm not coming, Moses. What? I don't know about that. I don't know, man. This Moses was up there, and we were scared when you heard the voice of the God of Israel like a trumpet and thunder and lightning. They were so scared. They said, we can't go, Moses, you go. He said, you spoke well. Build a fence around it. If anyone touch it, man, woman, boy, dog, animal dies. Don't touch it. And go sanctify yourself before you come to me.
That's it.
Understand who this God is. Yeah?
For 3 days?
3 days, Elder Elvis.
Not just tomorrow, no.
No.
3 days I'm coming
He said,
down.
separate yourself from your wives. Keep yourself clean and holy unto my God. This is a serious thing. These are the attributes of those that are chosen. Don't think, you know what Elder Pam used to say in the UK? You know what she said? She goes, your seats are not secured. Your seat is not secured.
I like what Elder Sophie always says. She's working hard to keep her seat.
That's the attitude.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude. That's the right mentality. And do whatever it takes to keep it. Do it.
Absolutely.
Moses did. Aaron did. Okay, Aaron made a bit of folly. We forgive him, but he got punished. But the fact is that they did what they had to do to keep it. Moses was the most meek man and the most powerful man at the same time. Imagine that. The most meek man, but the most powerful man. He could speak and that's it, it's finished. He could raise his hand and that's it. He parted the sea, understand. Read the scripture again. I didn't part the sea. Have you ever tried to part the sea? Have you ever tried to part water? No, come on, tell the truth. You did. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you what.
That's just our imagination
No,
in fantasy
no.
land.
Everybody go home, fill your bathtub to the brim, and then take a deep breath and blow. And tell me if the sea part, or if the bath part, and make sure it's dry ground. And I want it video recorded, and I want you to post it so I can see it.
Wait a minute, Mr. Even in today's time, when they gotta build a bridge across a river, you know how long it takes them and how much work they gotta do?
They can't dry the sea.
And it's still wet, and all the water is still flowing. They gotta do all that rerouting.
Do you understand?
Do you know how much work it is just to build that base in the river or the lake to build a bridge over?
And this is the mighty power of our God. The children, we are children of the God of Israel, of chosen people, a chosen people. And it's not something you take and you put the crown up on your head, I'm chosen, you walk around. That's not what it is, man. It's right there, by your fruits. He shall bring forth good fruits in his season. You're going to multiply. You're going to be gracious. You're going to be humble. You're going to be a blessing to your brethren. You can talk. You can be happy. If your brethren have a problem, go sort it out. Just go sort it out. Don't hold it.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? But there's one thing you must do, which I'm very big on. You must respect your elders. You have to respect your elders. And Moses was an elder. And let's go higher just for 1 minute.
Right.
The God of Israel was Moses' elder. Let's understand that. And he told him to turn from your fierce anger, the God of Israel. Okay, Moses. All right. But I'm your elder. You aren't going to punish me. Because a couple of things you did I didn't like. You struck the rock at the waters of Meribah and you didn't exalt me. I didn't like that.
Right.
Okay? There's some things you must keep in alignment and stay with it.
I think that was the reason why he didn't get across.
And he rebuked the God of Israel.
So he did a couple of things. Of all the things he did, but just those two little things he did, he didn't get a chance to see the promised land.
And they tempted Moses. They pushed him. The people weren't easy.
Oh, man.
You know how hard those people were? It's your people. Andrew, you. Particularly Andrews. Right? And they were hard onto him. They were hard. They pressure Moses, man. They pressure Aaron. It's hard people.
In right away.
Immediately.
He caved in. Aaron, we need something to represent our God. Aaron goes, yeah, bring the earrings, break them off. Let's go, guys, bring them up. Get the furnace ready. So quick he turned.
You see? But there begun the separation. And this leads nicely into the next scripture we're going to read. It began the separation, brethren. Don't be on the wrong side of the separation is what I'm getting to. Don't be on the wrong side of the separation. Because it's very easy for us to do that. And again, all the scriptures make sense.
It does.
I'm going to show it again with this one and another scripture. It all makes sense. We're going to turn to Matthew 25. And there's three particular parables that the Christ spoke about. But I'm going to go the last one, verse 31. And again, it just reinforces when we speak about the Passover, there is no substitute for lamb. There's none. You can't say, okay, all of a sudden I'm going to sacrifice a dog or sacrifice these. No. Or a piece of goat. Nice. See, that confirmed it.
Where are we? 25, 26?
31. Oh, yeah. Chapter 25.
25.
And we're going to read from verse 31.
Okay. So Matthew 25.
Yes. And this is the separation of the goat and the sheep. All right,
Okay,
let's go.
So here we go, verse 31.
Yes.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all his holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
Right, but first of all, you've got to know who the Son of Man is, and who he is, and how he's coming in all of his glory, even the Christ. He's going to come, and he's going to say, now this is the scary part. It's scary, brethren, because now we're at the end. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth the sheep from the goats.
Whoa.
And he shall set the sheep on the right hand, but the goats on the left.
Right, hold on. Hold on. Easy, Elder Elvis, easy.
I'll slow
All
it down.
right? He's going to put sheep on his right, goat on his left. Why? Why not sheep on the left, goat on the right? Who's been in the military? Ezekiel, Hilaire. You understand when you're on your right side, what does that mean? If I put you on my right side, you're a trustworthy person. You're a person of power, influence, and you're loyal. That's why you have to understand, even with my elder Shadrach, how he does things, you don't put your wife on your left side. She sits on your right side. Oh, she's on your right side. Andrew, okay, yes, Andrew. Oh, yeah, of course. So you turn out good in the end. All right? So there's a reason for that right side. Don't just overlook it. Oh, you just said right because it's right. There's a reason. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Okay, so we're at verse 34.
Yes.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom, prepare for you from the foundation of the world.
This is why you have to understand you must go through the tribulation. Go through the struggle. Go through the training. Go through everything you need to get to because of what he just said there. Because you endured. Sheep, I prepared this from when, Elder Elvis?
Yeah, from the foundation
What?
of the world.
No, you guys don't sound convincing. From the foundation of the world, was we there?
So we're
Do we
talking
know how we-
way back?
Way
Genesis.
back. Think about it. Listen, no. Back in those days, was there Israel?
No.
But he already saw you. Listen to what he's done. He already thought about it. Think about it. That's why when you read, slow him down. Slow it down. He's saying from the foundations of the world. But Israel wasn't there, according to when we read it. But he already foresee Jen. He saw Elder Elaine. Come, sit on my right side. Because I prepared this from the foundations of the world. How? I don't know how that makes you feel. I'm not quite sure how it makes you feel it hit home yet. That means you're sitting in a position where the God of Israel, the Christ, is looking at you and saying, I prepared this wonderful, spectacular place from the foundations of the world for you. You can't take that for granted, brother. Every day you wake up in the morning, that should be your first thought. That's why I asked the question, what do you do when you wake up in the morning and you feel annoyed? Smile. Because look at what you have. Look at what you have, brethren. The potential to look. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's deep.
Go ahead. That was deep.
35. For I was an hungered.
Read that nice and loud.
Okay. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me.
Hold on. Do you understand what I'm saying? How many people did you feed last week of your brethren? How many people did you visit of your brethren, just say, that you know might be struggling, going through something? I'm going somewhere. And we're going to wrap it all in together. There is no separation in the scriptures. You see, look at our people and the propaganda that they put out in social media. All we do is kill each other. Every time I turn on, I see another Jacobite killing another Jacobite. Another Jacobite doing something wicked to his family. Another Jacobite doing this and this and this to his family. All the bad things. All the wicked things and the most wickedest things they could do to each other. They do it. How this Jacob don't help this Jacob, this Israel. Oh, it makes me sick. And then you look at the other nations and you see how completely different. It makes me nauseous. Because I'm like, how do they look at us? How do the other nations look at you? And this bad behavior you see on there. And then they see you going now to try to set your business up and they say, yo, you're like those people. Look how hard we make it for each other.
You know, if you read in Isaiah 19, it talks about the stay of the tribe.
Don't even go there. That's too deep. Because if you say that, we have to go too far.
Oh man.
No. Okay,
let's leave.
Let's not, because we gotta go too far. We gotta go there. We gotta stay with this topic.
Okay.
All right. We gotta stay here. But I know where you're going, Elder Elvis.
Right.
I like it. All right. Let's read him on.
Let's go on.
So we're seeing that the Christ is saying, when did you look after me? Basically, when? Ask the question. You looked after me. That's what the Christ is saying. You looked after me. No. I don't think you got it, man. I don't think Elder Elvis anybody understood. I don't think if you're online on the YouTube, you understand. Give me a fire. If you understand what he's saying, when did you look after the Christ, Josiah? When did you feed the Christ? When? When did you look after him? When did you give him a drink? When did you give him food? When did you clothe him, Andrew? When? When he was in jail for something he didn't do, all these foolishness, when? That's the question. It is. Okay, Elder Elvis.
All right. Verse 37.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee?
Now, that is the response of who? And a humble person.
That's right.
Because an unhumble person say, yeah, I mean, do it, yeah, I did it, I did all these things.
Right.
I put up this, I did that. It was me, God, yes, God, it was me.
So true.
True or false?
Very, very, very true.
And me do it. Why do I always go to a Jamaican town when I say? Maybe it's too much Jamaicans in there, I rub off on you. All my friends, it's emphasis. But all my friends in the UK, enough of them are all Jamaican, so I think it's still in my system. It is Jamaican. It's British. Well, British Jamaican, but it's not Canadian, and it's not Bayesian. I can't speak my Bayesian, I don't talk and all them things there. And I really know the Michael speaking though. I know he can. But this is the question. Okay, Eld.
Yeah.
Keep on
verse
going.
40.
Verse 40, go.
And the king shall answer
Yes.
and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye have done it unto one of these, the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
Do you understand that?
Fire, yes.
I asked the question, when did you do it, Chris? The two Chris's. You, in the back with the shades, yeah. When? When did you see the Christ and look after him? You see, it's very easy for us to say that we're going to be saved and we're going to heaven. Who's going to heaven? I saw you move, it was you, Ishuka. But do you know the price that we have to pay to be able to even be considered to be chosen? Because our journey is not ended. The journey is just begun. And when you think that you've reached to the top of one mountain, you're at the bottom of another.
So true.
And you still have to climb and keep climbing. And do you know who I take inspiration from? Elder Shadrach. It's the truth. Do you know why? Because why didn't he give up like Moses? Moses didn't give up. Why didn't he give up? So you people make me sick. You cuss me out. You put me on the street, you spit on me, you tell all these bad words. But guess what? I'm going to still teach you because this is my job. This is my duty to teach my people. Even if they kill me, even if there's 4 left, even if you all walk away from me, I'm going to stand and I'm going to teach you because it's my duty. Moses did it until his very last breath. He didn't give up. And Joshua turned around, and do you know what Joshua said after he divided the lands of all the people? What did Joshua say? It's something very significant. And again, it all plays back to heaven, but you got to understand that. He said, as for me and my house, you guys are going to go, you're going to do all these things, but me particularly and my house, we are going to serve the Lord. The end. Okay, old Elvis. Go on.
I thought Elder Sophie.
Oh,
Elder Sophie.
Harriet. Elder Harriet.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
But it's to the point you're making, because you're saying the Christ said, when have you seen me and feed me or do
Yes.
whatever the case may be. I'm not going to spell it out right, but a brethren text me this week, Harriet, XYZ, boom. I go say, I responded to them, and right away, they answered whatever I said. So I can say, that's an example of what you're talking right now. A brethren might text you or call you, and you explain to them certain things, and they said, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
And
they don't
took care of
necessarily
you.
have to do that. But that's a very good example. It could be
That's
the very
the
fact you
physical
can
one,
see
right?
them. You can see them. You got eyes.
Yeah.
You got eyes. So if I see that this young man needs something and it's in my power, why wouldn't I do it? He's my brother. If I see I can help him, why wouldn't I do it? That's what he's saying here. Because you understand, if this is meant to be my person here, my brother, and we serve the same God, we serve the same Father,
Yeah.
and he's genuine, he's in need, and I've got a couple $100,000, and I give him something, or whatever it is, that's my job, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm looking after him. If I see he needs new shoes, and I've got a connection of a guy who got shoes, what am I going to do? Watch him, he's got holes in his shoes and leave him? No. You pull him, but don't make a show.
That's it.
Everybody, I'm giving him some Louboutins. That's foolishness.
Yeah.
You don't need to do all of that.
You don't need
You don't need
bring
to.
attention.
You don't need to bring attention. The God of Israel said that he's going to reward you openly what you do in secret. You understand what I'm saying? So, and we just read up. I'm going to prepare a place for you that was prepared before the foundations of the world. Do you understand that he already knew you before you even knew yourself? He already knows you before there was even Israel, the man. Read that again. Read that again, because the Christ is saying this. Israel wasn't formed. Israel was not formed. But he's telling you, I know you, Pansy, and I've got somewhere so good for you. If you can just last these years, last these seasons, when it's time for you to sleep, Ezekiel, you're going to come to me, and this is what I have for you. That's why it's many are called and few are chosen. Only few can do that, and we're going to see why. You go.
Yeah. Let's move on. 41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand,
So the left hand is the goats.
Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
That's a bad place to be,
Wow.
brethren. No, say that again.
Oh man, that's
Read that one more time.
41.
Read him again. Huh? Yeah, with more conviction, more bass.
More bass. Okay.
Yes.
Then
Just put an
shall
accent.
he say also
Hey, thank
unto
you.
them on the left hand,
There you go.
Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil, and his angels.
Has hands up who's seen a devil? Serious question. Hands up who's seen his angels, fallen angels.
Listen, not the fallen, but to see an angel. We wouldn't even have the strength to stand up, because the first thing is when we read in the scriptures, is they say, fear not. So that means if you watch cartoons, and
I don't watch cartoons, no.
you must, when you were like yay high,
What?
When he was this high, you know.
Go ahead.
So, you know, they watch the car, and then when they show that the ghost left them their spirit. So, you know that little cartoon. So when the angels come to visit our forefathers in the days of old, they always say, "Fear not." And then you go and says, "Are you for us or for?" So you're so scared. You're not. There's no strength in you. So therefore, you're worried, sick. To one, if he's for you, you're good. If he's against you, you forget living, because you're about to die, and you have can't do anything about it. So when we see angels,
When last did you see an angel?
I have never seen one.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, Elder Michael.
Hold on. Elder Michael. So, Elder Michael is I love Elder Michael. And the reason why, Elder Michael told me something, right? No. Elder Michael said to me, "I know how water was made, Priest Tyrone." Listen to me, yeah? Listen to me. Man, I'm salivating. We're in the prep room. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I know Elder Michael's a very astute man, and he is. No. He's a very astute man. And I said, to come and tell me, how was water made? How did God make water? I'm still waiting. This man ain't tell me yet. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Read it.
Verse 42. For I was an hungered.
Hold on. Elder Cheryl. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You have a question? Oh, okay.
Right away, that almost is like that.
No, read him again. Read it.
I was going to reference the rich man and Lazarus.
No. What's wrong with you, Elder Elvis, man? You must not give away secrets prematurely. Go.
Okay,
go ahead.
Verse 42.
Go ahead.
For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick, and in prison, and ye visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hunger, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
This is from the foundation of the world. That's a very scary thing, brethren. It's very scary. So to somewhat, could be already predestined for you. But which path are you going to choose? Seriously. Like seriously. Like which path are you really going to choose? Because while we have the breath in us to be able to communicate and talk and pray to our God, let's bring it back. Now we've got the breath in us to talk to each other, which is very important, because you're doing this to your brethren. And Elder Elvis jumped the gun, but the Spirit is one, because that's exactly where I was going in terms of proving the fact of Lazarus and the rich man. Why did Lazarus and the rich man end up in that situation? Why did the rich man do that? Read the scripture. Because when Lazarus was on earth, he had all of wickedness happen to him. Did he feed him? No. Did he clothe him? No. The dogs came and lick up his sores. Did he give him anything, any help? He's in anguish. He's in pain. And the rich man just
stepped over
I'm
and
okay.
walked past.
Israelite.
Wow.
Both Israelites.
Israelites.
That's scary. You understand what I'm saying? He just gave the story of Lazarus right here. The story of Lazarus is right here. Luke 16. That's scary. Think about it, brethren. So when they say the Bible, there's no contradiction. It's the same thing meshed together. He just gave it to you. When the rich man saw Lazarus when he was thirsty, no, go with your dry mouth. He was hungry, go with your long belly. No clothes, go with your naked self. You're in prison, you're beat up. They put you on the street, no shoes on your foot.
It even
And he said
that-
the least
but-
of the little ones.
He even said that Lazarus longed for the crumbs that fell from his
Even
table.
crumbs.
Imagine that we break bread, and sometimes, the crumbs are on. He was longing even for that, and it wouldn't even, because these days we have so much food, and sometimes it's just wasted. Imagine the guy's dying for food and can't even give him the leftovers, the stuff that falls. Oh man, that's so wicked.
It's very wicked.
It's very, very wicked.
But it's showing like who you are. Goat or sheep. Like, just take it for what it is, brethren. And I know that we live in North America. North America is very sensitive. Britain is not so sensitive. We just say it as it is. And we get charged for it. It's okay. But let the sensitivity hit. Let it hit, let it change you. Let it do something to you. Because that's the problem with our fathers. They didn't like reprimand. They didn't like correction. And that's why they suffered and they died in the wilderness. Corinne.
Peace.
Peace.
I just wanted a little clarity, right? So
Go ahead.
Matthew 25:42.
Matthew 25.
42.
Okay, 42,
right?
yes.
Onwards with, with the negatives, the ones on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Can you confirm or clarify if this is still the brethren?
It's still.
Brethren.
Yes, it is. 100%. 100. Listen, this is someone that understands and should know the law. What is the greatest commandment? Pansy said it a few weeks back. To love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and all thy might. And the second, like unto the first, is what? To love thy neighbor as?
Thyself.
All right, well, there you go. It's brethren. We're talking about brethren here. Look what King David did to Uriah. And he was punished. Uriah wasn't an Israelite. But he's so loyal to David. He was like he's a neighbor. He's considered an Israelite. This man fought wars and battles for David. And he did this to him. And the God of Israel punished David for him. He took away his son. Killed him. But the woman had to carry him for 9 months. And she had to go for the pain of childbirth. Why didn't it just happen? Just took it away and then he's God. He could do what? No. What you did was wrong. You're going to feel pain. Your son is going to feel pain because what you did to this one. Do you know my grandmother used to say this to me? If you can't do people, children good, don't do them bad because you haven't had your own.
Interesting.
While you have children, you never do wickedly to another man or another woman's child. Never. You have your own. It's coming. It's coming. And that's why we always have to remember we're spiritual people. And remember it, keep it here. Don't let it just go in this ear, come out this ear, you go outside, you forget everything. And then when the devil comes, he says, right, I'm going to tempt this one, you fail. You fail. You just fail. And you keep failing, and you keep falling, and you keep slipping, and you're sliding, and you can't get your feet. Why? Because you didn't grasp hold to the word that was spoken for you. Everything that's happening is for a reason. Every person here today, the nation, at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, is here for a reason. Every person here, you just read this scripture, has the opportunity to be in that place where the Christ said, I prepared at the foundation of the earth for you. That should be a revelation to you because there was no Israel formed at that time. But he already saw you. He already saw you. I don't know. I'm excited about that. That's why I say, when I wake up in the morning, I don't care what you want to do to me. As long as I know my God.
That's it.
You want to beat me up? I don't care. I've got muscles. I'll tell you, I'll absorb the pain. It's true. You want to run me? Come now. Because my spirit has to go back, but the soul must live. My soul, I need to be in the right place because that's real life. This is fake. We see it's all fake. As we said before, we own nothing. The house you live in, you don't own it. The land on that house is owned by the the queen or the dad of the king. The house is brick and mortar, is owned by the bank, and you only lease it during the time. And guess what? You only own it for the duration of time you're alive. The car you drive is only yours whilst you're alive or it works. You own nothing. The body that you have, the food you eat, you don't own the food. It goes in your mouth, recycle, and goes back to the earth. True or false?
Sure.
The body that you have, all its members that we beautify it so much must go into the dirt and reclaimed by the dirt. The God of Israel, dust thou art, dust you shall return.
That's it.
You own nothing but your soul. Your soul, my friends. Your soul is what you should be feeling and feeding and making strong. Make your soul strong, because tomorrow is not promised. It's not, tomorrow doesn't exist. Make your plans, I understand, hope, but it doesn't exist until you're there. The journey into the nation didn't happen until you arrived. When you got here, now you're at the nation. Do you understand? Listen to the instruction given. It's so important. The man of God that cried against the altar, Elder Elvis, the God of Israel gave him instruction. Do not pass this way. I don't care. You go this way. He was doing well. And this is the story of Israel. You're doing well. Yeah. No, the God of Israel said this. No, I'm good. Then you meet another Israelite. I said, no. What do you mean? I'm Israel too. I'm a man of God too. I'm an old prophet. It's okay. What did he do? He failed. He went the wrong way. The lion demolished him. A lion tore him to shreds. And a donkey and a lion stand up there looking, well, his body. And the old man said, oh, well, you should have listened. His time is up. Took the body and go bury him.
Yep.
Do you understand how powerful this is? It's the same thing we're reading from front to back. There's no difference. Elder Sophie, I'm sorry.
Question in what you just said, because if I'm putting myself in that position and I'm just thinking, being human, and I'm in the nation, and yes, I'm told to do something, and then another brethren comes in my path, how do you discern that this person is lying? Because it's a brethren. So where does the line get drawn with loving thy brethren as thyself? Is there a line where you stop, or is it just, I don't know, like hold yourself back?
I tell you that. That's a very good question. Keep to instruction.
That's it.
Keep instruction. If an instruction has been given from the hierarchy, because it also comes with respect and leadership and eldership, because they're in that position. If an instruction has been given by elder, any member of the Supreme Council, and another brethren comes to deviate you off the path, if they take you off the path, good luck, I won't say God bless. Because the reason why, you must stick to the instruction given. If they say do not enter, don't enter. If they say go forward, go forward.
But how do you know?
Because the initial,
Because
listen to the leadership. The man of God got himself into trouble because he didn't listen. He forsook the voice of his God. Who is more important? Who do you put forward? Some of us put our partners over God of Israel. You don't do that. Because look, okay, I'm going to give you one more example. Job's wife. Curse God and die. You're a foolish woman. You speak with those foolish ones. He could have said, okay, wife. You know, wife? Yes, you're right. Let me curse God and die. No, he didn't do that. He said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Do you understand? So it might not be comfortable. It might not feel good, but he's telling me what to do. He's telling me. And that's how there should be no discernment. It should be focus and steadfastness. Because the minute you start bringing discerning, you're bringing in doubt. And you're bringing in doubt, you're bringing in trouble for your own soul. And it's a slippery slope. You're going to go down. You're not going to find, I'm telling you, you're going to lose everything. And that's why we have to understand, if an instruction's been given from the top, stay with it. Someone else might come with 50 million reasons. No. Who are you? What are you fighting for? Huh? We are fighting for our soul, brethren.
That's it.
You're fighting for your soul. You're not fighting each other. You're fighting for your soul. Where do you want to live? Make a choice. You're correct. Who said about choice? Elder Elvis. Where do you want to live? In the kingdom of heaven that's been prepared in a most beautiful manner that we can't even understand. We can't fathom what that looks like. We can't. We see, listen, I drive around all the time. I've got clients in Spadina, and all around the back there's some beautiful houses. And I've seen some wonderful places. wow, this, I didn't even know this was even in Toronto. I'm like, whoa, this is in Toronto? Well, imagine 1 billion trillion times more in the kingdom of heaven for your soul. Or you can be in hell with the devil and his angels. Make your choice. Elder Freddie. And then after that.
I'm actually really enjoying today's message because we've covered so much, which is one of the things that I love about the Israelite nation. It's not just about reading a scripture and then trying to see, right? Or trying to put a spin on it. Like, we deal with so many things. We deal with culture, we deal with character, we deal with not only understanding the scripture, but understanding the scenarios and what they present. So, for example, what we were just talking about, if you have, because sometimes you go through things with your brethren.
Right.
You might be at odds with your brethren or with a brethren. So the question is, so what exactly do you do? Or how often do you forgive that brethren? Right? Or how often are you supposed to love that brethren? But when you have an understanding from the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, you know and understand that this is a person, this is an individual who your God has chosen to reveal himself to. So always, naturally, you always love your brethren. But believe it or not, at the same time that you love your brethren, there might be certain things about that brethren you don't like.
Right.
So what do you do in that situation? Right?
I've got a good answer.
And this is what we're faced with.
Yeah?
You don't hate your brethren.
No.
You like your brethren, or you might not like your brethren, but at the same time you try your best, because that is a vessel that the God of Israel chose.
True.
So there is patience involved, but you might run out of your patience.
So
But
true.
don't you ever discontinue the love for that brethren, because
Right.
you never know. You don't know what they're going through. You try to help them, and at some point in time, it might be your time where you say, you know what, I'm done with this, brethren. I'm just gonna walk away, and you know what, I'll keep you at arm's length, but we serve the same God, but I don't hate you. And I think that's where it comes into, like, you don't hate your brethren, but you have to know that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to be taken advantage of anymore, because I'm trying, but this brethren is not listening.
100%.
Right? But it's life, and that's what is required to understand. It's not all about just verse this and verse that. Like, we are human beings, and it's from those verses that we read, and there's a lot between the lines that you have to understand that there are actually people. And they hurt, they feel, they cry, they are people. But you have to understand how to navigate, and that comes, I think, a lot of times with experience. It comes with just making sure that you, as an Israelite, put the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob first in your life. That will lead you to wisdom and understanding, and that will lead you to, how do I navigate with my brethren? Because the scripture is, those that endure to the end.
That's it.
It's endurance.
That's it.
It's
It's
not
endurance.
although you're a sprinter.
100%. No, 100%. And
Just to add, just the human factor. And I've learned something long time ago when I used to do jiu-jitsu. The instructor said to me that, listen, I know they've got a lot of problems and stuff, but before you get through those doors in the dojo, leave the stuff outside. And when you come in here, come in with a clear conscience. And when you're ready to go home, pick it up, because it's not going anywhere and it's there for you. But that's how I kind of do Israel too. When I'm coming through those doors, whatever is out there, I leave it out there. That's why I know my guys, I always say, I need a double portion from you guys. I need a triple portion. That's because I'm happy to see you guys. But when I go back out, I may have a little beef. I said, yo, man, I don't know about that guy, Brian or Lewis. I don't know.
well, let me try to help you in that, because my eyes haven't seen. I've got to the actual scripture. So the question was asked. So I may go a couple minutes over. Is that okay? Just a couple minutes or so. The question, as long as I would. Thank you, Andrew. The question was asked in the Bible. I can't find the scripture. How much times must I forgive my brethren?
7 times.
How much?
7 times and 7.
How much is that? Come on, mathematicians. Where's Colin when you need him?
Right.
He said what? How many times? 49. Okay, so I can't find the scripture from somebody. It's even more than that.
7 times.
It says 7, if my brethren, in here, 7 times, if he transgressed me 7 times in the day, you're supposed to forgive him 7 times a day. Do you understand that? I can't find it. It's here. 7 times a day. So 7 times a day, no, there's that one. So how much is that for the week? How much is that for the month? For the year? There's a whole heap of forgiveness. For one, brethren. That's not, brethren, that's not distributed. That's not, okay, I've got like 49 forgivenesses. I can distribute that between, no, that's one. One, brethren, you forgive.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
But
do the maths. It's
again,
a lot.
Those 2 laws that govern all of Israel. I mean, if you can't forgive your brethren, no matter what, then how are you going to get to move on? Because
there you go.
then there come of the Day of Atonement. Like, I mean, listen, you don't want that day to come around and you're still trying to forgive your brethren.
Right. And on that note, I want you to go we're going to go to our last scripture very quickly and wrap him up. Revelation is touching. I know it's Revelation. Don't get angry with me. Revelation 17, verse 14. Elder Elvis, just read that. Verse 14, very quickly.
Verse 14, here we go. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of all lords and King of all kings, and they that are with him are called the chosen,
there you go,
faithful.
And those are who? The
Israel.
Ones who he put on the right side. The ones who he chose on the right side, the humble ones, the meek ones, those that keep the laws, statutes, and the commandments. Those are the chosen, brethren. Work very hard, work diligently to be chosen. And I know that we're going over by 30 seconds or a minute or so. But I just want to say, everyone in here is being called for a specific reason. Don't let the reason be that you're just used as an example. You're just used on a piggy bank to help another brethren to achieve their goals. Be somebody in the nation that the God of Israel can look at and say, I'm proud of you. You endured to the end. The Christ said the servant is not greater than his master. If they did this to me, my own killed me, they beat me, they spat on me, they put things on my head, they stabbed me in my side, they betrayed me, they turned their back on me. They chased me, I had to run. What they're going to do to you? But if those that Elder Freddie said, the race is not for the swift, nor for the strong, but those that can endure and shall endure to the end. Endure all things, brethren. Be chosen.
Yep.
Be chosen. And with that, from Elder, I almost said Elder Freddie. This is Elder Freddie's older brother. Because Elder Freddie's looking at me. But that's what it is. From Elder Elvis and myself, peace.
Peace.